Hello folks. So I thought let's continue with the series, and today we'll speak about Ketu in the 6th house, Rahu in the 12th house. Now this is one of the best placements for Ketu, but it does come with some difficulties because of Rahu going into the 12th house. Yeah, in fact, during Rahu periods, whether it's the dasha, whether it's the antardasha, life can feel out of control, life can feel faded. In fact, when the 6-12 axis gets activated by the nodes, it brings an intrinsic imbalance in life, as I mentioned when I talked about Ketu in the 12th. That imbalance could be connected to health, it could be connected to relationships, it could be connected to work, or it could be connected to your domestic situation. Yeah. So, let's speak more about this placement. Now, normally Ketu operates on intuition, emotion. You could even say instincts, depending on how developed your intuition is. Ketu in the 6th, however, will give you some discernment, discrimination, which is otherwise lacking with Ketu. Essentially, it's giving Ketu the Virgo skills of being analytical, of being critical, of going beyond the emotions. And this placement can easily help with minimizing competitors and adversaries in your life. That includes people who are undercutting you, who are perhaps jealous of you, who are going behind your back. All of those come under adversaries. And of course, the more obvious ones are people that you're having some kind of a fight with. It could be a court battle, it could be a disagreement, it could be a dispute. This placement gives less of that. It gives less enemies, it gives less competition than the one that I spoke about earlier, which was Rahu in the 6th. And competition isn't something that you enjoy, unlike Rahu in the 6th, because Rahu in the 6th experiences this to an intensity. And because of that, someone with that placement can actually derive a deep satisfaction from beating competitors. Here, with Ketu in the 6th, you may also get competitors, of course, but they may not be as powerful as someone who has Rahu in the 6th, right? And thus, Rahu in the 6th takes strategy, it takes efforts to win their battles. Success can come easy to you with Ketu in the 6th house. It's better, of course, if it's sitting alone. But this position can make you an overthinker. You can also overwork. And you can also overwork and feel underappreciated. This can make you envious of others. It can also make you judgmental. You may think others with privileges don't deserve what they have, for instance. I would say here, watch that doesn't turn into bitterness and resentment. That can easily happen. This Ketu in the 6th, you can have a strong character and also the ability to treat people in the right way. So, what do I mean by that? For instance, you will know to treat people that care about you with love and respect, and you would intuitively be able to know those that are inimical to you and don't have your best interests at heart. And in this way, you would treat them with some distance, and if necessary, some firmness also. This is unlike Rahu in the 6th, where it may not be easy to tell sometimes. It depends how developed that Rahu in the 6th is, but sometimes it may not be able to tell who's against you and who is not. Because that Rahu in the 6th just produces so many enemies that come out of nowhere. Not with Ketu here, though. You'll have good intuition. You'll know how to achieve your goals. It's very important to keep busy, to stay out of your head, to manage those inner conflicts. In fact, I've spoken about some of these conflicts, like the 6 enemies of the mind. The 6 Shadripus. I've spoken about that in the intro video, so have a look at that. Which also applies here to some extent, though less with Ketu than with Rahu. Yeah. So if you want to hear about it, go through the intro video. Ketu in the 6th can give you incredibly high standards. You can spend too much time trying to impress others. There's too much focus on fitting in, being someone, competing with others. So some isolation and introspection will actually help you to understand that the divine, the universe, is within us and not outside of us. Yeah. And once you realize that, it will help you move away from this need of fitting in or making others fit into compartments. Getting involved with community work is also helpful because that will help you see yourself as part of the big picture. Okay? Developing compassion, empathy are key here. To move away from judging others in order to be happy. That's a challenge for this placement. The other challenge, the other trap with this placement is being stuck in the material world. Like in your workplace, for example, if you manage other people, this position can make you very demanding of those working under you. 9 to 5 type of jobs might frustrate you. So having your own work may actually be better for you someday, your own business, if you're not already doing that. Problems, diseases, enemies, all the 6th house stuff. Here you can dwell on that more than necessary. Yeah. So if you don't have some kind of an exercise routine, it's good to cultivate something like that. And you also need to practice letting go more. That Rahu placement in the 12th can help with this. Ketu in the 6th will give you a strong willpower, no doubt. It also gives inner strength and courage. But as I said, watch for being too moralistic and judgmental of others because of this. Right? Like you can quite clearly see that you are in some ways superior to others. Wasting time and energy is also common when the nodes hit the 6-12 nodal axis, when they reside in the 6-12 nodal axis. This placement of Ketu in the 6th can also bring some troubles with the maternal family, maybe fights, battles, court cases. Yeah. And I've seen actually this to be the case if Ketu is just simply in Virgo. Not necessarily the 6th house, but in Virgo, the natural 6th house. And people in the maternal family can also try to bring you down. You have to, of course, see 6th Lord and Jupiter. If Jupiter's aspecting, that's a lot more manageable. It will mitigate this effect. In fact, Jupiter's aspect on Ketu can be very good. It can give name, fame, success, wealth. Also check to see if you have a strong 6th Lord. And, of course, Mercury. Yeah. The 6th house is, as we know, it's disease, it's ailments. So here with Ketu sitting in the 6th house, again, ideally you want it to be alone. Be watchful of digestion issues. But with diseases, with ailments, you can recover quickly. The condition of Mercury is important to see how strong the results will be. You can, though, overwork yourself. So take time to release some of those like pent-up energies that come with this placement. Rahu in the 12th. So, 12th house. 12th house can signify sensual pleasures, or it can, on the other end, signify spiritual progress. I spoke about this actually in the Ketu in the 12th video. So which way do you gravitate depends on what's going on in the chart, right? We simply can't just say with Rahu's Ketu, the placement in the 6-12, that you will gravitate one way or the other. We have to see what else is going on. The Lagna and Moon placement will give you clues, and so will the Dasha sequences. So if you're in Mercury or Venus Dasha, these being Rajasic planets, you will likely move toward sensual pleasures at those times in your life. There's also a placement, Rahu in the 12th, it's also a placement that can lead to one extreme or the other. It's a difficult placement. Like that insanity versus genius thing. That can play out with this placement. And as I mentioned before, it can lead to a fatedness during the Rahu periods. The Dasha, the Antardasha. Rahu here is highlighting seclusion, escapism, foreign settlement, fantasy dreams, visions, but also renunciation and liberation. Rahu's placement here can definitely lead to losses and expenses, and it can also easily lead to excessive indulgence. And 12th is, yes, it's a moksha house, but it's also the sthana house, so this placement can get difficult. 6-12 can get difficult for the nodes. Smoking and other addictions, if you get into them, will be difficult to get out of them with this Rahu placement. Again, Jupiter's aspect will highly mitigate this. If Lagna, Lord, and Moon have strength, then you can overcome the excessiveness of this placement. Stay away from substances and intoxicants to manage this position, because otherwise it can get tough to break those habits. There's an interest in reaching beyond the ordinary with Rahu in the 12th. Living outside the place of birth is commonly seen. In fact, you can achieve a lot of success abroad. In fact, your achievements abroad will actually boost your status in your home country, or in your birth culture, or in your family. Yeah, and Rahu in the 12th will help you do that. This Rahu placement can, however, give problems with sleeping. It can give nightmares. It can give insomnia, especially when you're having a Rahu return, like a reverse nodal return or a return, or if you're going through Rahu Dasha or Antardasha, you will then experience this. 12th house is, of course, connected to expenses, losses, but anything you spend your energy and your time. So losses can also be a loss of energy, life energy. Okay? Like something simple like foreign settlement, travel, long distance travel, sexual activities. These are actually all examples of loss of energy. Again, the Dasha sequences and Dharma Trikon will determine where you spend this energy. You may be tempted to isolate yourself if you have this placement. Rather, it is advisable to cultivate spiritual practice, especially silence and meditation, to bring some balance to the mind. This placement can also lend itself to someone who has renounced the world, maybe to become a monk, sadhu, that sort of thing. Rahu in the 12th can give very vivid imagination. It can be difficult, however, to reach your goals due to the obstacles that this placement brings. But that Ketu in the 6 will help you get there, because that Ketu in the 6 can remove obstacles. There's a tendency to go beyond the normal. You may not be satisfied with anything conventional or ordinary. In fact, you're prone to reject all that you've grown up with at some point in your life. The culture, the traditions, the values with this placement. Yeah. This placement can actually make you very generous if there is a Jupiter aspect here. Do charity work or donation to manage this Rahu energy. Remedy is important, especially if there's no Jupiter aspect. So you could help those who are outcasts from society or from their family, like they've been dejected by the family, because Rahu is an outcast. In the context of 12th house, for instance, hospitals, orphanages, soup kitchens, homeless shelters, those are also good places to give your time. Just like Ketu in the 12th, Rahu in the 12th can give prophetic dreams and psychic powers if it's operating well. Intuition can also be sharp. Good careers would include being a detective, a counselor, a healer, social worker, a medium, but also politician and lawyers. You could do well there also. This is one position where it is important to have a spiritual practice, because Rahu here can create a lot of problems in the mind. And for Rahu, any sort of breathwork practice is suitable, because with Rahu, especially when you're going through a Rahu Dasha, the Vata element can be too strong. And being that Rahu is in a moksha house where Rahu is uncomfortable, this can create all sorts of fantasies, ideas, even paranoia. Right? Like you may start to see problems where they don't exist. Having a strict self-care routine is important in Rahu periods also, and learning to switch off. Yeah. Having pets is auspicious for those with the 6-12 nodal placements. And that goes for the other way around too, when Ketu is in the 12th. Yeah. So that's all for now, folks. If you enjoy the video, feel free to comment, and don't forget to hit the like button. Bye for now.